Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Camel Sportscast. I'm your host, Steven Avalos, alongside my dad.
Hello.
And my good friend, Marissa.
Hi.
And unfortunately, this is going to actually be Marissa's last episode, at least with us physically.
We'll always be together mentally.
Yes.
Because she's going to be going to Monterey for college and all that. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm nervous. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're definitely going to miss you and all that. Of course, it's not like you're that far away. It's not like you're going to another state and all. But still, hopefully we're able to still record or, find a way to work together still when you're out in Monterey. Hopefully you'll still be able to broadcast Giants and Niners games.
The only thing I'm really worried about Marissa leaving is that now we might actually have to pay somebody. Because...
Wait.
Yeah,
what?
I guess we should... Yeah.
I haven't been paid.
Yeah, now we're going to have to open up the checkbooks.
Oh, man.
Which, that'll be coming from your account, Steven.
Okay, fine. But anyways, I wanted to start things off with mentioning that I have a new article out. It came out yesterday. It is talking about the Raiders rookies and how they performed in week 1 of the preseason against the Seahawks. They won that game 20-7. I thought they did pretty well. I'm not going to go into a huge detail about it, but I still want to talk about just how that game went in general, and I bet you'll want to talk about how the Niners did in their week 1 performance.
Yes.
And tell everybody how I feel about preseason football.
It doesn't matter one single bit.
I hate preseason football. I don't think it should exist. I think it should just be just like the college who they don't have any preseason games. They just go out and get them.
They still have spring workouts and all that.
Well, so does the pros.
Yeah, so then the pros are...
I just think that all the injuries that happen during preseason are wasted on a non-existent game.
I'd rather have someone get hurt in the preseason at a time when it's like you're caught off guard, and also
season-ending injuries.
Plus, what's that going to do for rookies and all that? People that are trying, undrafted players that are trying to make it into the league. How else are they going to prove themselves outside of camp?
Well, there's one thing: they're professionals.
That does not answer my question at all. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because there's always going to be rookies that were drafted much later, or people that weren't even drafted in the first place, and they're going to look for a spot. Like how many undrafted players, because of the preseason, they're able to make it, or people get starting jobs over veterans because they showed up in the preseason. That's why it has to exist.
Oh yeah.
And plus, it's where you can try
in-camp workouts.
It's not. It's in-camp workouts. Like the gap between preseason and regular season is so much smaller than the gap, I think, between training camp and preseason. Does that make sense?
Well,
because you're actually playing a game still.
But why do you think college can do it and the pros can't?
Oh, because they're already able to have so many players on their teams anyway. You see how big the rosters are. Like when you see the whole crowds of players.
Yeah, but the pros have B teams.
There's a practice squad.
Same thing.
Yeah, that's barely anyone. Those guys are mainly there for emergency.
I'm just trying to prove it. My point.
What side are you on with this? Do you believe there should still be preseason?
Of course she does. She's going to agree with everything you say. I know how this works. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, I do agree, but I don't agree with everything Steven says.
Oh, which part do you not agree with?
No. Oh, no, I mean just in general.
Ooh, can we have a bite?
No.
No,
for this situation, yes, I agree with you. I think there should be preseason games. I think... I think it's a good chance for guys that were drafted lower in the draft to have an opportunity to prove themselves. And I guess right now for the Niners, preseason's working out for them to be able to really watch and see what Trey Lance is doing. So I think that gives teams an opportunity to, judge their players and decide their rosters.
And plus you get to go against other people. You get to go against other coaches' game plans without consequence.
Right. I mean, running drills and you're practicing against your own team can only take you so far. Because game situation is... That's kind of where things, I feel like, people play at their best.
Yeah, you're more encouraged to try things on 4th down or more 2-point conversions, because if you miss it, then you just lost a preseason game, but now you know how you might want to perfect the play that you were trying earlier, or just to know that maybe that play isn't for the team.
Personally,
you know what I mean?
My idea preseason, if they're going to play it, I wouldn't have anybody punt. Go for it 4th down every time. Why punt? Punter knows how to punt. right?
Yeah, but sometimes kickers and punters do get dropped based on how they do.
Well,
All that
it's
training
very
camp is
rare
more.
for a kicker to get dropped. I mean,
Some of them will be that bad.
I can make up some stats.
Robbie Gould missed a kick, I think. I think that was him.
Yeah, my feeling is just that, how many players are going to go out 100% for a preseason game?
Well, the rookies and the
And just
people,
just how the rookies play.
well, that's how it usually is. Sometimes they have the starters, but they still have to get some reps in with rookies and all that. Like a veteran quarterback with rookie receivers, they still got to get reps in with them, or a veteran linebacker working with a young cornerback or a young defensive lineman that they have to command. You want to get like that repetition in. That's what it's about. It's about getting repetition.
Or you can do that without having it. And we're going to go round and round on this because you agree on one thing, I agree on another.
Okay, well, we can end it there. But anyways,
Continue. This all started with your article that you did.
yeah. So I talked about. Well, I don't want to go into detail about how I specifically thought the rookies did, but I thought they all did pretty fine to me. Leatherwood, there were times where he looked a little bit lost and all that on some plays where he wasn't guarding the right man, but you could also put that on the center and the quarterback because those two are supposed to communicate with the rest of the offensive line, tell them to read the blitz or like say, hey, watch for this guy and all that. And so you can easily pin it on that, but that's something he needs to improve on. When it came to simply blocking, though, I thought he was pretty good. So, there's that to look forward to.
There was a really good article.
Yeah, I thought it was one of my better ones when it came to, like, professionalism, like, just, like, how I worded things out and such. And then you got the defensive backs like Nate Hobbs. He got an 8-yard sack. And while, like, really all he did was go in a straight line at him, he still got the job done. And I can't think of can't remember many times a cornerback got a sack.
Yeah.
Not only in football in general, but especially the Raiders and all that. And the energy they had was really nice. Like, they looked like they just at least knew what they were doing on the field. They only had one bad play, which was the 43-yard touchdown on 4th down. That was honestly their only bad play. And, like, they had another play where they got called for a penalty on 3rd and 18, but it was a really weak one. I don't know. Did you watch much of the game?
I didn't even turn it on.
There was a play where Carl Nassib pushed the quarterback after he threw the ball, but the quarterback didn't even touch the ground. Like, he just took a few steps back, and then they called him for roughing the passer. Quarterback didn't even hit the ground.
Well, it's the referees preseason as well.
Yeah. And usually I hear some people say that referees tend to be more sensitive just to, get into people's heads on how they want things to look to some degree. But there was also an awful call where a player got excited on a really nice run, and he got called for taunting. And that's actually something that the NFL said they're going to do. They're going to crack down more on taunting this year. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I mean, I already saw which game was it with the taunting?
Detroit.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a bit much.
Yeah, it's too much still.
Well, that's why they're called a no fun league.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that being posted for quite some time now.
Well, it's funny. They'll let the offensive players do these celebrations, and even the defensive players do these celebrations, but you can't do certain things, certain celebrations.
Yeah, or also like baseball too. Like a pitcher can pump their fist and all that, or punch their glove when they get a key strikeout, but a batter can't look at his home run that would win a game. It's there's always going to be people that are going to be hypocrites about their unwritten rules and such, and unfortunately for the NFL, it is a actual rule that they're trying to make here.
Are there any unwritten rules in football? We did one on baseball, unwritten rules. Is there? Can you think of any?
There must be, but I can't think of any at the moment. But I also don't think that the level of unwritten rules even touches how baseball is, because baseball is just so old school.
So mental.
Yeah. I know, like, for basketball, there's, like, like, the game's over and all that. You say it's already a 10-point lead and one of the teams have the ball. You probably shouldn't try to shoot, especially if you're the winning team.
Yeah.
You shouldn't shoot the
You
ball as the
you
clock
see the
winds
team
down.
just dribble out the clock, whatever.
Yeah, because sometimes if they do shoot it, they'll get pissed and all. It's like, in one way, it's not that big of a deal to get mad over it, but it's also like, you also didn't have to shoot it all. Like, it's a bit of a, what do you call it, a shameless stat pad to take a shot in the winding seconds if your team's already up by a lot.
Exactly.
So there's that. But anyways, back to my article and all that. In the preseason game, I was pretty happy with how everyone performed. Excuse the car that went by. I was pretty happy with how everything went. They're going to go against the Rams next week. They had a joint practice today, actually, and it was pretty riveting, I guess. Everyone was going nuts the whole time. Sidelines were yelling. There were some scraps and such, especially between Jalen Ramsey and just other Raider players, but Renfro pretty much put him in his place and got some nice routes on him. And so Renfro is just a stud and all that. He's not going to be like a fantasy stud, but he is a stud in general.
He will be a fantasy stud.
Well, maybe in a 20-person league. But, Marissa, what do you have to say about how the Niners did?
Right. So, I'll quickly talk about Jimmy G because really everybody...
Because that's your man.
Well, really everybody wants to hear about Trey Lance. But anyway, Jimmy G, he played one drive. He looked pretty sharp, and he was 3 for 3, but only for 26 yards. But obviously the big story is Trey Lance, and, he's very exciting to watch. He threw that 80-yard touchdown. He did get sacked, I think, 2 or 3 times, unfortunately. Wow. But he looked pretty good overall. His arm strength is really good. He's very mobile, but he is going to have to improve, obviously, with being aware of the blitz that's coming. And he almost threw 2 interceptions, but...
Well, he's only, 3 for 8? Or what was he?
He ended the day 5 of 14 for 128 yards. There were a couple times that the ball, that should have been caught. It was right in the guy's hands, so you can't really fault him too much for that. But obviously there are areas he needs to improve. But I don't think he's going to take over anytime soon. I think this is Jimmy G's job to lose. I think Jimmy G's going to start... I'd say play about half, depending on how well he does. And because Trey Lance still needs time. He still needs time to just get that experience. And overall, the Niners lost. I think it was 19-16.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they did come out of the game healthy, no injuries.
That's what's important.
Yeah.
No injuries. Raiders have any injuries?
No injuries there. Nick Kwiatkowski was a little banged up, but he's not officially listed for anything like day-to-day and such.
He's just hurting a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. He'll be okay, I'm pretty sure. But, so, there's both ups and downs for both teams. I think definitely the Raiders had a bit of a better week, I would say.
Rude.
No,
they did.
Yeah. I think the Niners still are going to... I think they should still be a better team just because of, they're expecting people to be healthy this time around. And plus they might have a better quarterback too. But, of course, the Raiders still, they have a decent upside as well. If their defense makes a big improvement and their offensive line can be competent.
Anything on the report on the shots, whether or not players are going to play because of not getting shots?
Nothing much about it. It's been a while since I've heard many people say anything about it. Actually, someone on the Niners got their shots.
Nick Bosa, he got vaccinated.
Oh, congratulations, Nick.
Yeah. So he was on the sideline for the preseason game, and you could see him was wearing his mask. So it had to have been pretty recent. Good for him. Good job.
Yeah, I can't think of many news on the Raiders.
And Bosa's still alive.
Yeah.
Okay, because I've just heard so many things from people, the anti-vaxxers, who say it'll kill you if you get a shot. And Bosa is, as well as me and Steven and Marissa, we've all got our shots, and yet we are still alive. Amazing.
But yeah, anyways, what do you call it? Hopefully every player that can get their shot will.
Or they can get their shots.
Well, because some might have exemption. Like Ron Rivera, he can't. That's why he urges other players to get it.
So he says. You got to know from his mother, but that doesn't count.
He dealt with cancer.
He had cancer.
Oh, okay.
So he because of does something to where it won't be as effective, or he just can't take it. And so but Washington, they're one of the lower teams in terms of vaccination.
Well,
and there's that one player. Remember, I don't think he plays anymore though. But the player was actually shaming Ron Rivera for it.
I do remember that. That was on Twitter.
I don't remember who it was. He used to play with the Broncos, I'm pretty sure.
By the way, Ron Rivera, go Bears.
Yeah, go Bears. I think it was T.J. Ward. I don't remember him. He played safety for the Broncos. He was shaming Rivera. It's it's not like their fault you got cancer or something like that. He kept saying He's like saying like, oh yeah, cancer. He made cancer sound like it was a choice, or like he brought it on himself.
Yeah.
And all that. And
I
he's
think
like,
he's
yeah,
taking
like
too many hits to the head.
it's like, yeah, like of course, a certain lifestyle can make you more likely to have it, still, but it's not like
Somebody asked for that. No.
Yeah. And he made it sound like that. He just sounded really ignorant about the whole topic. That was a while ago though. But another thing I wanted to mention, and this is going into baseball here, is what I shared with you is they are exploring a possible MRSA.
Oh.
They're exploring a possible like deal to where for salaries teams have to spend at least $100 million on players and all that. And I think if I'm correct, it was like the capacity is like 180 or something like that. There was like a tax.
I think the luxury tax was raised to 180 million.
Yeah. What was it before?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
That kind of stuff is very confusing to me.
But one thing, the A's never have to worry about paying that luxury tax.
Yeah.
That's true.
But now I think it's a good thing though overall. I hope it happens. I've been talking with other A's fans about it, and they all sounded pretty excited because it means that their team will have to actually spend money on people, and it might make things easier for them. And for the Rays too.
Might make the owner eager to sell. I hope. Spending money he doesn't want to.
Oh man, that would make him look like such a cheapskate if he actually sold the team.
He's a cheapskate anyway.
But even lower than I imagined. But either way though, then that would be a win-win scenario.
I don't think there's anything lower than the ground.
But because it's still an $80 million difference, but still I feel like that kind of makes things a little tighter between teams. What do you think?
I feel like that they're doing this. They're doing this because of the big free agent class of the shortstops. I think maybe Manfred's a little worried that they're not going to go as, not quickly, but, there's a lot of questions as to what's going to happen with Correa and Seager, and I think he just wants to see a good offseason and free agency. But I'm not really sure how this is going to work because you could still spend that kind of money on one guy, because a lot of players are going for a huge amount of money, so I don't know. Yeah,
Correa and Seager, they're gonna go for bank.
Yeah, so you could get one guy like Seager, and would that really make? Seager's a good player, don't get me wrong, but would that make a huge difference between teams?
But even with a luxury tax, and of course it might just be from watching the Warriors as much as we have, they don't care at all about the luxury tax. You see how much money Laker will spend on the Warriors, and they've been in the luxury tax for a while. They don't. You can tell it doesn't really affect them.
Yeah.
So
Warrior owners will spend whatever it takes.
So if an owner really cares, they should be willing to take that luxury tax.
The Dodgers do. I think
exactly.
Dodgers have the luxury tax, but the A's won't.
No, but at least they'll have to spend over $100 million. At least, so
they
I think it's a step forward.
They can re-sign Marte, hopefully.
They better re-sign him.
I highly doubt it still, but this $100 million thing, if it goes through, will give me a little bit more hope on that. But anyways, can you open up the standings and all that so we can go over how everyone is looking? So first off, we got the American League East. We got Tampa Bay with the 5-game lead, and the Yankees and Red Sox are tied. So they're not only tied for second in the division, they're also tied for the second spot in the wild card. Then you got the Toronto Blue Jays that are 9 games back of first place, and the Orioles, who are 34 games back. I think they're the worst team in baseball now.
I think
Arizona.
The Diamondbacks have improved.
Yeah, they've improved against San Diego as well.
And they beat the Phillies last night.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on. Every terrible team has that one streak during the season where they somehow find ways to beat good teams. And I believe that's what's happening. But I think Tampa Bay's going to hold on. And I think with how things are going between the Yankees and Red Sox, I apologize to the Yankees. I thought their trade acquisitions were pointless.
Me too.
When they initially made them, but it's really given them a lot of upside. And I think the way they're trending, I would give them second in the division and probably second or first in the wild card.
Is Rizzo back?
No. So they're not even at full strength.
They're doing this without Rizzo.
Gallo's heated up a bit, I think.
Right. Gallo is still hit or miss. He's either a strikeout kind of guy or home run. But he's great defensively. So.
Yeah, he is. Gold glove.
And now on to the American League Central. We got the Chicago White Sox still with a commanding lead at 11.5 games ahead. Cleveland is 3 games below at 58 and 61. Detroit is a game behind them. I kind of hope Detroit just finishes above 500 just because they've really had some good moments during the season.
Hopefully Miguel Cabrera hits his 500th home run.
Yeah, I was hoping to do that at home.
I predict tonight.
Okay.
If they play.
Yeah, if they're playing.
And
then Minnesota, 54 and 67. So, you got 3 mediocre teams in there. And then, actually, it's basically just the White Sox and then mediocre. It's like, I wouldn't say they're exactly, like, bad.
But they're
besides,
not.
like, Royals and Twins.
Well, the Royals started out so hot. They led the division for a little bit in the beginning. But then, reality set in. So...
And now finishing off with the American League West for me here. The Houston Astros still have a 2.5 game lead over the A's. It's been much closer lately. I think it was at a game and a half at one point, but A's have been... They've both been losing lately. A's are going through a rough patch right now. A lot of their starting pitchers haven't been playing as well.
No, they were on a good streak for a while with starting pitchers and relievers.
Yeah.
They were holding up the team. Now, not so much.
And unfortunately, with what happened to Bassett.
Yeah, unfortunately, he took a 100-mile-per-hour line drive to the head, and he was bleeding from there. Suffered a couple of facial fractures, I believe, and a broken nose. And so that's just...
That is devastating to the team.
Yeah, and it definitely it's going to shock the players. I think a shell shock for them.
Right.
Because they didn't do anything that whole game.
Yeah, they lost 9-0.
Yeah. And I bet, they were just shell shocked from the game. They couldn't do anything. If they could, they probably would have forfeited, honestly. Yeah. The Mariners, they're 64 and 56. They were looking to be a decent team for a while, but I think they're starting to fall out of that now.
Yeah, they're cooling off.
And Same with the Angels.
But still, they should be happy with a winning record because I think people expect them to still stink.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they haven't made the playoffs in.
But I'm just saying they're trending upward.
15, 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Long time.
They are trending upwards though.
Right.
And then you got the Los Angeles Angels. They're a game below 500. I didn't really know what to expect from them because I haven't heard Mike Trout's name in a while.
Mike Trout has been out, I think, since April or May. And, yeah.
But you think you hear his name for, he might come around soon.
Yeah, they haven't said anything.
I thought he was supposed to be back, weeks or even a month ago.
Yeah, they said he was supposed to come back right after the All-Star break, but that hasn't happened.
I remember, I think they played the Angels not before the All-Star break, but close to it. And, yeah. And then you got the Texas Rangers who... They traded a lot of people away, so they're just going to be awful for the rest of the year.
Oh, they beat us 2 out of 3.
Yeah. Although we did sweep them last time. Right?
Yeah.
It was a 3 or 4 game sweep, which was nice. And then, Marissa, you got the National League?
Right, so for the NL East, the Braves, they're finally in first place.
A shocker. I mean, we've been talking about the Braves all year.
Yeah,
how surprised we were that they weren't doing good. And lo and behold, the cream has risen to the top.
Yeah. They've got a 2.5 game lead over the Phillies. The Phillies are in second place, so that's good for them, but they're not. I don't think they're in the wild card hunt. And then the Mets are in third place. They've fallen all the way to third.
Now, was that the owner that chastised the batters?
Right. Their owner Steve Cohen, I think that's his name.
Yeah, Steve Cohen.
I believe he took to Twitter and complained about how the Mets were ineffective, and
at the plate.
Yeah. Not a good look.
Yeah.
It's the usual Mets move.
Yeah, Mets are gonna Met, and then the Nationals and the Marlins,
round out the bottom.
Yeah, and then to the NL Central, the Brewers are still holding on to first place. They've got a 9-game lead over the Reds. They're just playing great baseball right now.
Except when they play the Giants.
Right.
The Giants didn't sweep. They swept.
No, the Giants took 2 out of 3. Yeah. And then you got the Cardinals in third. The Cubs actually played really well against the Reds. I think they took 2 out of 3 with them. And then the Pirates are in 5th. And then for the NL West, the Giants are still in first. Dallas Braden said that come August 15th, the Giants would no longer be in first place. But, I mean, look at the standings.
It's Dallas Braden.
And then they've got a 4-game lead over the Dodgers. The Padres are in third place. They've fallen off pretty quickly. I mean, they're still in it for the wild card. I think they're the first wild card team. But Yeah, they're not playing great right now. And then...
Oh, no, please, continue.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry I interrupted.
And then the Rockies are in 4th place, and the Diamondbacks are in 5th place. But the Diamondbacks, their last 10 games, they've been 5-5, so
Woo!
good job.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marissa.
Yeah, so now they are like a game ahead of Baltimore, it looks like. Because I think Baltimore had 38 wins, and they have 39. I don't know
good
what
job,
the losses
Diamondbacks.
are. But yeah, good job, I
They
guess.
had that great no-hitter.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler Gilbert.
Tyler Gilbert.
First game ever pitched.
Right. And he's from Santa Cruz, so...
California boy.
And I was just in Santa Cruz, actually. Just got back from a trip there. It was pretty fun.
Did he pitch for Santa Cruz? The slugs? Is that what it's called? Banana slugs?
No,
I have no idea.
I don't think he went there, but,
okay.
Good for him. Congratulations.
That is the mascot for Santa Cruz State.
Yeah, I think
The
so.
banana slugs?
UC Santa Cruz.
I like that mascot. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I don't really know much about that, but that's cool, I guess.
What's that?
The slug?
Banana slugs.
Banana slug.
But that's from Pulp Fiction.
Come on now.
Banana slugs.
Yeah.
Is it the shirt he wears?
Yeah. John Travolta. He
Oh,
had this UC Santa Cruz T-shirt and has a slug on the shirt.
I can remember like the yellow on the shirt.
And that is the slug.
I guess I can see SC on it, but yeah.
I'm not a film fanatic.
Oh, a cinephile. No, I haven't really been watching movies as much as I used to. It's been like, just all about sports lately, especially with like how well things are going right now with my writing and all that. I'm even trying to look for another little gig, writing for a fantasy football page. So I look forward to doing that as well. And of course, I still got school coming up soon, and next week actually, I'll be in classes. But I still do plan to do recordings and all that. Still writing about sports. I hope it all goes well.
Still doing fantasy football.
Yeah, and speaking of fantasy football, I bet that you were trying to get me to talk about it. We had
I wasn't.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes,
Wow.
Steven, it's just you. You can go now, Brissa. I'll talk to you later.
But we had our draft, and so on the last episode we did our lottery, but we did have our draft, and I believe my parents had the first pick. They got McCaffrey, of course.
Yeah, we had no idea what we were doing.
You had third, and you had Derrick Henry. You had a notepad with you. Other people didn't have notepads.
We were told, go ahead, start. We had no idea what we were doing, man.
I told you guys to get ready, but you never did. I told you, hey, do
well,
a
we
mock
also
draft
thought you were
before.
going to be here telling us what to do, and then next thing you know, where's Steven? Oh, you're going to do it someplace else. And we were rushing to find the book, open the page. We didn't know who was getting picked by other people, so it was a total crap show.
You guys are super.
And we had 30 seconds between every pick.
Well, it was a minute.
You guys got McCaffrey though.
Well, even if it was a minute, it felt like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I was actually.
I was
pretty
sweating
quick.
every single pick, profusely.
Okay, then. But, Marissa, how did your draft go?
I think I did pretty well. I was pretty happy with my team. Patrick Mahomes is my quarterback. I mean, you can't really go wrong with him.
You didn't go with Jimmy G?
No, unfortunately.
I thought I did pretty well with my first pick. I got Aaron Jones at 7th overall, and so I was at the 7th pick in an 8-team draft, so I also have the second pick in the second round, and in the second round I got Travis Kelce. And as it went, I'm just going to go down the roster, not like in the order I drafted them in, but I got Lamar Jackson, Aaron Jones, Myles Gaskin, Mike Evans, Calvin Ridley. That's one of my favorite picks, Calvin Ridley right there. Kelce, nothing wrong with getting the best tight end in football. Deontay Johnson, Tyler Bass, and the Washington football team. I always get kicker last just because I think kickers matter the least. Trevor Lawrence will be my backup. Kenyon Drake, I think he could just be pretty decent, in like some spots. Of course, it might be a little harder to determine just because it's going to be more of a committee, like a duo between him and Jacob. So it might be hard to figure out who will have the better day. But I still want to take that risk. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Travis Etienne, I think he can be a pretty good running back. Will Fuller, when his suspension is over, I think he could be explosive. And then Jonnu Smith as my backup tight end. Want to go over your team, Marissa?
Right, so I have Patrick Mahomes, Chris Carson,
Patrick Mahomes. I always make fun of his voice.
James Robinson, Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, Darren Waller. I said Derek. Darren Waller. I'm pretty satisfied with him as my tight end. Derrick Henry, Harrison Butker, a.k.a. Harrison Butt Kicker.
I knew you'd like to say that name. As soon as you okay, go ahead.
And then I have the Steelers defense. Joe Burrow is my backup quarterback. Raheem Mostert, Brandon Ayuk, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and then I have Logan Thomas as my backup tight end.
Nice. Why don't you ask me about my lineup?
Because it's on Mom's phone.
Yeah, that shows how much how important I am as a individual.
Because you can't have it on the same account. You have to have it on the same account. You have to sign in as her as well. And Mom isn't going to do any other league, so I just give her one to feel a little more in charge.
She's in charge anyway.
Well, yeah. So what do you just? We can still do other leagues.
Never mind. I'll get behind a curb.
Steven and I are we're up in the first week, so.
Yeah, I'm projected to win. By the way.
Right now.
You know what predictions are? They mean nothing.
Like 6 points. A little less than 6 points. Yeah, right now.
The Titanic was predicted to be one of the great cruise ships of all time. How'd that go?
Ooh.
Not good.
Yeah.
But either way, though, I'm really excited. I'm still in plenty of other leagues. Some one that involves money. I want to do another one with my dad that will involve money. Just pay like $20 to like a buy-in league and see how that goes for us. And I'm also getting in some other leagues. Or it's not fantasy, but it's a pick'em league. And I will submit the picks that I make on this podcast onto ESPN, and so I'll be able to. It'll be easy for me to tell how I do, and such. Keep track of the numbers, and of course, you guys. We can maybe try to make a league in that and see how we all do against each other. It's more computer oriented than like having to do it on paper. How do you guys feel about that?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I'll send you guys how it looks and such.
Okay.
Is there anything else going on with sports that you guys want to talk about?
Not a thing. And, I can't think of anything.
I just want to quickly note that Trevor Bauer was in court Monday for the restraining order that is against him. Nothing's really come out of it so far. That he has decided to, I think they worded it, take the fifth.
Yeah, I don't know why they said take the fifth instead of just plead the fifth.
So he is not going to take the stand. Yeah. So his administrative lead is still going
continuing.
on.
But I was expecting it to go in that direction just because he seems like the type of person that wouldn't admit to what he allegedly did. I'm only saying allegedly just because nothing has been set in stone. Right. But I do think that he's guilty.
I don't know if he is or not, but I don't know.
Pleading the fifth is always suspicious in my opinion. Just like when it comes down to like elections and the vaccine, people are like, oh, I don't want to say who it is. Like, oh, then it's probably because you went with the unpopular one.
Yeah, they don't want to say that whether they've gotten the shot or not. Well, if you have, you have. Not. What's the big deal?
Yeah. But anyways, though, we hope you guys enjoyed listening to this. Hopefully I get another article out soon because I want to talk more about the defensive backs and the battles that might be going on there. And, of course, more with fantasy football as that goes on, especially since that's going to be, my thing when I write more articles and such. So I really look forward to that. Hope you guys have a good night and wish Marissa the best of luck in Monterey.
Good luck in school, Marissa.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And next week's episode,
we will be going over... What would you want it to be more about? Talking about the NBA and the offseason or
it's going to be all football.
All football? Okay,
yeah.
I'm totally down for that. And maybe we can get one online with you, like before, where we did one online in the beginning, where you go over how you think the Niners will do.
We're going to have a special guest?
Yes, my godfather, Tracy. He's a really good guy, knows a lot about football and such, so he'll be really entertaining to have.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Hope you guys have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
And thank you, Marissa. Good luck.
Good luck.